Thank you very much, and welcome back to Race Industry Week. Our next session is going to be with USAC. So we should be joined any second by Ralph Sheehan and as well as Kevin Miller from USAC.
And this will be Kevin Miller's fourth year. So he's one of the originals that joined us, and he's really expanded USAC. Hello, Kevin.
Hey, how are you?
Again.
Great to be
here. Good
here.
afternoon, Kevin. Thank you for allowing us to have you again this year. I know you have to travel overseas this week, so thank you for making time for us. So we should have Ralph with us any second. Is right there coming in, so we'll let him take over. We had a very busy schedule this morning, so thank you very much, Ralph. We'll be with Ralph is right there.
Yeah, right here. I had to turn around for a second. I want to welcome the president and CEO of USAC, United States Auto Club, Kevin Miller. Kevin, how you doing, buddy?
Great, Ralph. Great to see you again, bud.
Okay, so Kevin, when I think of you and I think of USAC, I think of this.
It's awesome. That
is
awesome.
Maybe not this generation, but basically a midget and a sprint car, and my heroes like AJ and Mario and the Unser brothers and Johnny Rutherford and guys like that. But Kevin, the modern USAC is so much more than that. I recently went to the 8-hour sports car race in Indianapolis, SRO event, went to go get my credentials, and boy, did I go to the wrong building. I went to the Speedway building. I needed to go to the USAC building across the street because USAC is very much involved with groups like SRO and helping them put on their events. You guys have broadened USAC into areas where when AJ crawled into that sprint car way back when, he had no idea USAC would ever go in the direction it's gone.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's been quite a run, but if you look at our history, you look at the past, and you'll find our future. In 1958 to 1962, USAC had the largest road racing championship in America. Actually, the U.S. Road Racing Championship was USAC. And in 1962, the champion was Roger Penske. So you don't have to go too far back. But our history, included stock cars, road racing, sprint cars, midgets, and obviously IndyCar for 40 years. And when I came on board in 2008, we just had sprint cars and midgets and Silver Crown. And when you look down the path in 2008, the financial troubles, the market, the economy, it wasn't a healthy time for anything. And we knew as an organization, for us to be relevant in motorsports, that we had to look at a broader footprint for USAC long term. And we've done that. We've grown steadily since 2009 when we added Torque, the off-road series. You remember those days well. We added quarter midgets in 2009. And slowly we've built an organization that now includes the largest footprint of snowmobile racing, off-road trucks, a very large footprint in road racing with SRO, with Road to Indy, Radical, and the Porsche Sprint Challenge Series we own and operate. When you look at the footprint of USAC today, it's vastly different than 2008. But again, when you look at the past, it's not far out of the realm of us to do multiple series at one time. And we have focused on being a great sanctioning business as our core, which goes out to any motorsport operation out there.
I know the sprint car and midget world is near and dear to your heart, so I know it's not going away from USAC.
No.
But it is a very small part of what you do. You and I were talking not that long ago. You said 3% of the business, just 3% is sprints and midgets?
Well, when you look at membership, so, back in 2008, 100% was sprint cars and midgets as a membership base. Today, as a membership base, it's 3%, meaning that we have virtually most people who race off-road today in the United States are USAC member to do that. King of Hammers, Ultra 4, the Gas Series, the Core Series up in Wisconsin, J Oklahoma, all those series are under the USAC umbrella and share a license program and insurance platform for commonality among all of them. We have a common off-road license for that. Same with snowmobile racing. There's over 40 snowmobile racing organizations, series, under International Snowmobile Racing, which we own and operate that. So when you start adding 4,000 snowmobile racers and 4,000 off-roaders, you get pretty strong mix and see why that 3% of sprint cars and midgets as the core is small. That doesn't mean that we treat it as 3%. Obviously, sprint car and midget racing with 100 events a year, stream live on Flow. We just had the Turkey Night Grand Prix on Saturday that was a packed house. One of the biggest ones we've ever seen at Turkey Night in recent history. And that is obviously a passion that we have, the dirt track racing. But there's a common thread through everything we do. And it's at a core, putting races on, timing, scoring, competition oversight, rule books, memberships, licenses, insurance. As a core, we are a sanctioning body, and that crosses whatever type of motorsport you want to operate in.
So you can really tailor make a program that works for whatever form of motorsport I might be trying to sanction.
Absolutely. Again, those commonalities between anything you do, when you put a motorsport event on, you've got to, you got to look at a rule book. You got to have safety. You have to have insurance. You have to have an entry system. You have to have somebody provide competition oversight, race director, timing, scoring, points, and pay the people. And no matter what racing series you have, that common aspect, we can take and shape it to the type of series that you have. We are truly focused today. I would say we started this project in 2016, and we doubled down last year in technology and how we're using technology to make our role as a sanctioning body much more efficient, and we can provide that efficiency to other organizations. Like SRO is a great example. SRO is a very major road racing group in the United States, yet underneath a lot of SRO today, you'll find USAC embedded throughout the process, whether it's license process, the registration process, the entry process, race control, timing, scoring, and the points. All that all works. Even near to your heart, Ralph, is the relationship to TV broadcast, feeding the timing, scoring, feeding the data, feeding the broadcaster and the announcers the information they need to talk about the race. All that's provided by USAC today. So we are using and investing heavily in technology as the world is changing. AI is really starting to play into, again, your mix as an announcer. We are now using AI for predictability. At what lap will car X take over car Y? And predicting that and feeding the announcer information that they now have to look at and can talk about what's happening on the track using AI to feed information of predictability. We're using AI now and again, going after that USAC very efficient model. We are now having the ability to take our timing scoring information, and as let's say you as the announcer, Ralph, you want to talk about car number 10. You, the announcer, have the control to push in car number 10. The cameras will actually follow car 10 automatically because we know where car 10 is on the track through GPS. So without anybody else but the announcer controlling the aspect of the broadcast, you, the announcer, have the complete control using AI of which cameras to operate based on what you want to talk about, based on the feed and the insights coming from the data of timing scoring. So we are working hard on technology. We know that that's the next plateau to complement where broadcast is going, meaning streaming. And trying to make the data, the race control, all complement together for the output of broadcast and streaming, and being very efficient because we all know that travel today, I look at it this way: when we travel a person to an event and we have to put them in a flight to get there, it's a $3,000 bill for the weekend. Person, travel, airfares, we're averaging right now $880 a flight versus just a few years ago, it's $330. Hotels, rental cars, everything is way up, food. And so the more we can become efficient, travel less people, do a better job, the better we are going to be prepared to help other series run an event at a cost-effective basis. That's our end game.
And it's interesting too, like I might not see a lot of USAC jackets walking around the venue, but they're there.
Yeah, we have taken another thing we did in 2016. We take a white label approach. Robbie Gordon, we operate the Robbie Gordon series from the competition standpoint. We don't own the marketing. That's let that be Robbie and all his marketing wisdom. But when it comes to competition on the track, that's USAC's role. And so you won't see USAC at Robbie Gordon when he's in Toronto, but behind the scenes, we're operating the competition side of that. SRO, our people walk around in SRO gear. We are taking a white label approach to the point where when we design, and we're managing many partners, entry systems, registration systems, license systems, all white labeled to their look and feel. And so you'll go get a media license, Ralph, at many of these events, and you're actually going through the USAC process to get that. That's why when you went to Indy, you came to the USAC building to pick it up.
Yeah.
And again, that's part of what we has been a success factor for us, is that white label approach. We're not trying to go blast USAC everywhere. We're trying to be the glue underneath that holds it all together and let the series and our partners shine in their marketing approach. And it's been very good. Even the Porsche Sprint Challenge, we actually own the Porsche Sprint Challenge series, or we license it from Porsche. But you don't see a lot of USAC around there. It's all Porsche. Porsche ID, Porsche websites. We put all that in place so Porsche is the lead, and it feels and looks like you're really embedded with Porsche, but USAC is actually running everything in that system. And again, part of our magic, part of our business plan, part of our success is taking that approach, which makes our partners feel very comfortable that we're not trying to come in and overrun them.
Yeah, I will say that when I went to Indy for that event, there wasn't a lot of USAC at the track, but over at your building, of course, all the ladies that were working registration and check-in were outfitted in USAC gear and everything. And the system ran very smooth and it was very high tech, very similar to how buying a car these days has become the way you sign in and go through the whole process. Very, very smooth. Okay, but listen, Kevin, I still need dirt in my beer. So
Yeah,
I
for sure.
go to a sprint car midget race every now and then. And you guys did have a very successful swing through California here just over the last couple of weeks. You had the Hangtown 100 at Placerville. You had Turkey Night. Car counts are up. I know Chili Bowl is not one of yours, but my God, 330 cars shows a midget is very strong in this country these days.
It's interesting because internally we feel midgets are strong, but they're pressured. We look at car counts all the time, and car counts are up, down. I can say that they're vastly improved from 2013-14. Historically, you go back to Turkey Nights, there's 60, 70 cars. So they're not up to the history of Turkey Night, but it's healthy. At the same time, there's a lot of money in midget racing. The costs are high. We're concerned long-term. Like we keep looking at those things. We did introduce many years ago it was an unpopular move that we did in 2013, but we put RPM limits in midgets to try and keep affordability in play. I was at Mopar many years ago when at Mopar, you remember the days when Greg Anderson seemed to win every race, and there's a lot of investment made in chasing RPMs back then and I know at Mopar we spent a lot of money, and it was all just, you know, how much air and fuel and how fast you can make that go through an engine. And those are the three combinations. And by controlling RPM, you can control some of the cost. We did that in midget racing. Again, midget racing is unusual. You don't have a spec motor. You have different motor platforms, push rod, overhead cams, all over the map. And to try and equalize that, like road racing, you know, when you have the balance of power, to try and put balance of power in a midget racing is almost impossible. And by putting RPM limits in place through a balance of power approach, it does allow us a throttle that we can bring in newer, lower cost engines. There's a lot of things out there that are being produced today, motorcycle engines, two-cycle engines, or two-cylinder motors, things that you don't, oh, that there's no way, but they're producing the power output that are equal to what you see on the track. So there's an interesting future in midget racing, but we need to have that throttle to make sure that people feel that it's equal when it's on the track. But the racing and midget racing today, I'm not sure you can find much better racing. What's happening on the track and the competition, the level of it. And it's very healthy, because when you look at where the new generation of racers are coming from, quarter midgets and micros, and that pipeline is full of raw talent. We see kids when they're 8, 9 winning quarter midget races, and they step into micros. And there's quite a few of them that have moved up the ranks. Hell, Alex Bowman was a quarter midget champion for us back in 2009, 10. When you look back and see Carson Hocever, who won a whole crap load of quarter midget races, and now he just landed a cup deal. There's so many names out there that are in the pipeline today that started their careers in quarter midgets and micros and moving up, and there's so many more in that pipeline. I think the health of motorsports, at least on the side of the business of circle track and dirt tracks, very healthy for the future.
Got a few folks that have come in through our chat line. One gentleman, Paul, out of Mexico, is wondering if you're going to be bringing USAC south of the border anytime soon.
Well, I lived in Mexico City for about 5 years, my days at Mopar. I don't see us crossing the border. I'd love nothing more than to have a race in Mexico. Logistically, it's just almost impossible to do that with our teams, transporters, to take them into an operation like that. You would need a very large scale event that paid a lot of money to have something happen like that. But logistics almost preclude that. Even today, when we go to Canada for road racing, you do have challenges with logistics and crossing the border that do make it very difficult, and you always lose quite a few cars that will go because they just don't want to take the hassle of that.
Chris Stifler just chimed in as well, said thanks for everything you're doing with the Porsche Sprint Challenge, and he's looking for any updates for 2024. How's that schedule going to expand?
We got a great schedule. I'm very excited about 2024 for Porsche. We're hitting all the big venues. We added Watkins Glen. We start with Sebring. We end at Sonoma. We hit Coda. We hit Road America, of course. Great venues. I think there's 11 races in total between the National and the West Coast Series. So that program has been very good. I know our car count next year, we're expecting about 60 cars per event, just Porsche, which is just tremendous. We're adding an endurance mini series. At 3 of the events, we'll do a kind of a 1-hour endurance race at the end of Sunday to close out the weekend. And we will be announcing a 4th endurance race as a standalone next November, hopefully soon. So the Porsche community of motorsports is very healthy. We bring on the new GT4 RS next year as a brand new car. I think there are 26 of them committed already. So we're experiencing something great there. And we did take a fresh approach to a one make series like Porsche. We're trying to bring a little bit more fun for the weekend. And again, part of it was not a little bit being a little naive when we got into Porsche series. We came in with a whole bunch of banners. We're thinking like dirt track racing. We got to ring banners and flags, and people don't do that at road racing. So, and we brought in really nice hospitality, tried to make it more fun. We have every weekend we have a prost where we celebrate all the drivers with us. We have a pizza maker and hot dog maker. We have free pizza all weekend long. So we take a whole different approach that most of these are gentlemen racers that are spending a lot of money for the weekend to be there, and we want to make it fun for them. They have choices. They can go boating, they could go travel, they could do whatever they want that weekend. They choose to be there. We want to make sure they're having a good time.
Okay, well, let's talk about the other one then, sprint cars. We haven't dipped our toe. I got to see the USAC cars in action this summer at Knoxville during the Hall of Fame induction weekend. And boy, there's something about watching somebody who really knows how to drive a non-winged 410 sprint car and backing it in. It is still a spectacle that is something that you have to witness. Is sprint car racing, the non-wing version, going well? We see everything that's happening in the wing world these days. How about non-wing competition?
Absolutely. It's interesting. Again, we've been sprint car of our circle track series. Sprint cars is the fan favorite. It is definitely the one we have more resources behind. The points funds are larger. We've put more behind it every year. You see guys like Brady Bacon and the Robert Ballows who are making a livelihood out of that series. We don't have the level of financial impact that the wing guys do have today, but we're very healthy, healthier than we've ever been in the past. Levi Jones, who's a 7-time USAC champion, will give me grief. I bet you every week I get a text from Levi that shows his Oakley watch he won in 2008 and not the $100,000 prize. But it's a great reminder of how far we've come because, again, Levi, being a 7-time champion, can look at the days he raced and look at what we're offering today. And it's a reminder that we have put a lot on the table for our racers. This year we did a trifecta where we were going to pay, if you win, place, or show on 3 races, up to a $30,000 bonus. We have upped the ante on Indiana Sprint Week to $10,000 to win races. We have several $20,000 to win races, a $30,000 win race. So what we took approach for our sprint car group a year ago is let's build quality over quantity. Let's not add races. Let's take the ones we have and make them better. And that approach has really worked well. Again, the NOF trifecta idea, we took 3 races that already existed, raised the purses, put the bonus out there. In fact, one of our bonuses did hit Logan Seavey. We said if you win 2 of our Triple Crown, we double your prize money. And so Logan won the Midget Championship and the Silver Crown Championship. So he doubles his points winnings that will be awarded next Friday night at our banquet. And if you win all 3, it's a $300,000 deal. So we feel really good about the money we've put out there for sprint cars and our schedule kicking off at Volusia. We have our largest ever race schedule for Florida between Volusia and I think we're 2 weekends at Bubba's Place in Ocala and Volusia in the middle. So there's a whole bunch of nights of sprint cars to kick off the year in February, and the biggest schedule, the most aggressive schedule we've had.
Fantastic. Kevin, as long as I've known you, you've never shied away from getting yourself in hot water with stuff.
Oh, where are we going with this?
Well, and taking maybe directions that not everybody agrees with at the time when you take the direction, but then after a
Yeah.
while they see that your vision wasn't so far off base. And one of those for you was streaming. You were one of the first sanctioning to embrace streaming, and a lot of people thought that was going to kill their gate. But look at where we're at now.
Yeah, what's interesting, Ralph, is we actually streamed Turkey Night in 2009 live, successfully. But so it was one of the first years I was here. We used the back end of IMS, their servers, to do it. I think the people you were, my old agency, J.R. Thompson out of Detroit, helped us. And at 29,000 people watching, it broke. And throughout the, streaming was hot and cold, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And I always thought and stated that we weren't going to stream until we were ready to, from a quality standpoint. And in 2019, Flow approached us. And I'll be honest, had no clue what Flow was, and wasn't even really talking to Flow at the time. We were actually talking with Dirt Vision and looking at a partnership there. But when Flow approaches with the economics of $149 a year, but you got hockey, basketball, all these other sports, it really reminded me of ESPN and Thursday Night Thunder when ESPN started. And we took a gamble with Flow. We were the first people to sign with Flow, first group. We had 300 people watching night one. And I just got the result, the numbers for Turkey Night was over 100,000 people watching. We did have problems the first couple of years. We had very vocal track promoters that came and said, hey, you're going to hurt our gate. I don't want you to do this. And we pushed forward. We have a couple of promoters that still don't want it. And we honored that and respected that on some cases. But at this point, we have proven the success of streaming. Again, our biggest crowds, I'll shout out to Reese O'Connor and Tom Helfrich, two of the naysayers early on, who both called me this year and said, don't ever let us talk about streaming again, because they had huge crowds this year. So we're very thankful for that direction of the sport. We do believe it's building the future audience for us. And if you're not relevant on this iPhone, if you can't see things live, I don't think you'll be relevant in the future.
Okay, so since you're the great visionary of things going forward, what's the next thing that you're going to tell everybody we should go do, and they're all going to think you're crazy until it works?
Well, you can just follow our lead. We have invested. We doubled down on technology a year ago. We hired a head of technology, chief officer of technology. We have put in place things in the last 12 months that nobody knew even existed. And like I think I teased before, we will be using AI in the near future on race operations to make it more efficient. And so technology is where we're going to not only double down, we're going to triple down on technology, and that will make USAC an efficient platform for any partner that we work with to operate races more effectively, more efficiently, and more exciting, because at the end of the day, you'll be giving more information to the fan base. And that's where we are taking our direction, technology.
That's really exciting. Kevin, I know Francisca is going to be jumping in here any second now to move on to the next.
I see him.
You see him. All right. So just before I let you go, give me one or two things that you want folks to know to look for with USAC across all your different platforms, whatever you want to highlight going into 24.
Yeah, I think the word for us is really being a great partner. Whether you see us at Porsche, whether you see us at an off-road event, I know like my guys are flying out Tuesday to meet with King of the Hammers to try and make King of Hammers enhance competition, enhance the event. What we're trying to do is bring together expertise and be better partners across the board with everybody we work with. So when you see us at the track in 2024, our message is we're hiring great talent. We're leveraging that talent. It could be the same race director that at an off-road event to a rallycross event to a Porsche event. And we're leveraging those people to make them experts in motorsports and share those instead of just bringing in one guy a weekend to do a specific event, and then we won't see him again for 6 weeks. So again, we're trying to build quality over quantity, and that is our key message right now.
All right, Kevin, I look forward to seeing you at the races in 24.
All right, thanks, Ralph. Thanks, Francisco. Thank you. Thank you, Judy.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Registering on Epartrade is easy. To start, click on the Join for Free button on the homepage. First, search your company to see if it's already in our database. If you see your company on the list, click on it to select it. Then, choose Claim Company if you are one of the decision makers, an owner, marketing person, or main company contact. Or choose Join Company if you are an employee, and press Continue. If you couldn't find your company in our database, select Register a New Company. On the following page, fill out your name, email, phone number, job title, and choose a secure password. If you chose Register a New Company, you'll need to choose your business type. Select Supplier if you're looking to display products or services and connect with buyers. Choose Racing Business if you're looking to source new parts and connect with suppliers. Choose Race Team if you own or are a member of a professional race team. Then, enter your company name. Please provide a website, Facebook page, or LinkedIn if you have one, and choose to either claim or join the company. You can view and agree to our terms of use here. If you'd like to receive our weekly newsletter, choose Accept. Finally, click Register Now and your registration will be submitted for approval. An email will be sent to your inbox. Please confirm your email address and you will be approved shortly. Welcome to Epartrade.